The city was dead. Tall buildings stood like broken bones. Their glass eyes shattered long ago. Wind carried the smell of smoke and old metal. No cars, no lights, no people, just silence. But deep in the shadows, something moved. A boy, thin and dirty, stepped carefully across the cracked road. His name was Leo. He was only 13. But he looked older, like someone who had seen too much. He wore a torn jacket too big for his small body. His boots had holes. And his hands were rough from stealing and hiding. He hadn't seen another human face in weeks. Leo lived alone in an old train car near the edge of the city ruins. Each day, he searched for food, old cans, broken vending machines. Anything. Each night, he listened to the sky, hoping the bombs wouldn't fall again. One evening, the sky flashed with blue light. It was silent at first, then boom, something had crashed in the forest nearby. Leo froze, heart pounding. Was it a missile? A ship? A new monster? Curiosity pushed him forward. He moved fast, but quiet, like a stray cat. Through the tall grass, past burnt trees, and toward the smoke. There, in a clearing, was a strange sight. A glowing silver ship, shaped like a broken teardrop, was half buried in the ground. Fire danced around it, small but angry. Leo crouched behind a log, eyes wide. He had never seen anything like this before, not even in old videos. It wasn't human. Then he heard something. A sound like coughing. But deeper, he crept closer, heart racing. Every step louder in his ears. Lying beside the ship was a figure, not a man. Not like any human Leo had ever seen. Tall, even when lying down. With skin like silver stone and eyes that faintly glowed. It was bleeding, green-blue liquid soaking into the dirt. The alien turned its head slowly, looking right at Leo. Leo almost ran, but he couldn't. Something in the alien's eyes wasn't scary. It looked tired and afraid. Help. The alien whispered. The voice was deep and broken, like two people speaking at once. Then the alien's eyes closed, and it stopped moving. Leo stood still for a long time. He didn't know what to do. He could leave. Go back to his train car. Forget this ever happened. But something pulled at his heart. He knew what it felt like to be alone, to be left behind. So he stepped closer. The alien was heavy, much heavier than he expected. Leo pulled with all his strength, dragging the body away from the fire. He used an old tarp from a trash pile and tied it like a sled. Slowly, painfully, he pulled the alien through the dark forest. Back to the train yard, back to his small hiding place. It took hours, and his arms burned. He almost gave up twice. But when he finally reached the train car, he covered the alien with blankets and collapsed beside him. The alien was still breathing, slow and weak, but alive. Leo boiled old water in a metal cup and cleaned the wounds as best he could. He didn't know anything about alien bodies. But he did what he could. He sat beside this strange being, watching, waiting, outside. The wind howled like ghosts, but inside the train car, it was quiet. The next morning, Leo woke to find the alien watching him. Its glowing eyes blinked slowly. Leo didn't speak. He didn't know what to say. Finally, the alien spoke. "You saved me." Leo nodded. "You were gonna die." The alien gave a weak smile, something sad but kind. "My name is Terrell." Leo blinked, then said, "I'm Leo." They sat in silence. Two broken souls in a broken world. Neither of them belonged here, but somehow, at that moment, they weren't alone. Just then, a strange clicking sound echoed from the trees outside. Leo jumped up, peeking through a crack in the wall. Small red lights moved between the trees, machine drones, searching, scanning. Terrell's eyes went wide. "They're looking for me." "Who?" Leo asked, fear creeping into his voice. Terrell whispered, Hunter's Leo looked at the alien. Then at the forest. He had no weapons, no plan, and no help. But he had made a choice. He would protect Tyrell no matter what, because for the first time in a long time, he wasn't just surviving anymore. He had a reason to fight. Leo didn't sleep much that night. Even when the sky was dark and the drones were gone, his eyes stayed open. The alien Tyrell was breathing slow but steady. Leo kept watching him, unsure if he would survive the night. He had never seen anyone like him, not even in books or videos. Everything about Tyrell was strange: his skin, his voice, even his blood. But there was something familiar to pain, sadness, loneliness. Leo knew those things well. In the early morning, Leo stepped out of the train car. He moved fast and quiet. Like always, he knew where to find rainwater. And he still had one can of food he was saving. Now, he brought it back and split it in half. Tyrell didn't eat much, just sipped the water with weak hands. But he looked stronger than before. "You don't have to help me," Tyrell said in a soft voice. Leo shrugged. "You needed help." Tyrell stared at him for a long time, as if trying to understand him. Then he closed his eyes again. Leo watched him sleep, wondering who this alien really was. Why was he here? Why were machines looking for him? What made him so important? Later that day, Leo found a better blanket in the ruins and covered Tyrell properly. He lit a small fire in a metal bucket to keep the cold away. Tyrell opened his eyes again and whispered, "You're just a boy." Leo gave a small laugh. "People stopped calling me a boy when the bombs fell." Tyrell looked at the broken roof, his eyes glowing soft blue. "This world. It was beautiful once," he said. Leo nodded. "It still is." Just hidden, they didn't talk much after that. But the silence wasn't empty, was calm. Like two people who didn't need to speak to understand each other. By the third day, Tyrell could sit up. His wounds were healing faster than human wounds would. He told Leo some things, slowly and carefully. He was from far away, a system of stars Leo had never heard of. He had been part of a mission, carrying something important. But he wouldn't say what it was. Not yet. "Why did you crash here?" Leo asked one evening. Tyrell sighed. "I was betrayed." That was all he said. Leo didn't ask again. But the words stuck in his head like a sharp stone. That night, as the wind howled, Tyrell leaned closer. "They will come for me again," he said. "The ones who betrayed me?" Leo frowned. "Who are they?" Tyrell's eyes narrowed, glowing brighter. "They are hunters, mercenaries, machines. They do not care who gets hurt. They only want what I carry." Leo looked at him, confused. "What do you carry?" Tyrell slowly reached into his coat and pulled out a small, glowing object. It looked like a crystal, floating above his hand, turning slowly in the air. It gave off a hum, soft and deep, like music from a dream. "This is called a core shard," Tyrell said. "It can power cities, ships, even planets." Leo's eyes widened. "Is it a weapon?" "It can be," Tyrell said. "But it wasn't made for war. It was made for life." Leo didn't understand everything. But he knew one thing: this object was powerful and dangerous. And now it was here, in his train car, with enemies looking for it. Suddenly, a loud click came from outside. Leo froze. He grabbed a rusty pipe and moved to the window. Peeking through a hole, red lights blinked in the dark. Moving like insects, 3 drones, maybe more. Gliding low across the ground, scanning, searching. "They're here," Leo whispered. Tyrell stood slowly. Still weak, but taller than Leo expected. "I must go," he said. "If they find me here, you will be in danger." Leo shook his head. "You can't even walk far." He pointed to the corner. "I have an old cart with wheels. I can pull you." Tyrell looked at him with surprise. "Why would you risk your life for me?" Leo stared at the fire. his voice low, because someone left me to die once, he said. And I swore I'd never do that to anyone. Tyrell placed a hand on Leo's shoulder. It was heavy, but gentle. You are stronger than many I've met in 1,000 worlds, he said. They packed quickly, wrapping the crystal in cloth and placing it deep inside Tyrell's coat. Leo pulled the cart slowly, guiding it through the narrow paths between wreckage and trees. They headed toward the Mountain old place where signals didn't reach. A safe zone, if they could make it in time, behind them. The drones moved closer, their red eyes glowing like hungry wolves in the dark and far above. Something even worse had started falling from the sky. A sleek black ship, silent as death, was heading toward Earth, and it knew exactly where to look. The wheels of the cart squeaked as Leo pulled it over rocks and broken branches. Tyrell lay on top of a blanket, hidden under layers of cloth and metal scraps. The mountain was still far, and the path was rough. But Leo kept going, his legs shaking, his breath short. He didn't stop. Not even once, behind them, in the foggy distance. Red lights moved like fireflies, but these weren't insects. They were machines, hunters, the same ones Tyrell had warned him about. They had found the crash site, and now they were tracking them. Leo knew the city well. He had run through its ruins many times. But these machines were faster, smarter. They didn't eat or sleep. They didn't care who got in the way. Tyrell watched quietly from the cart. He knew time was running out. They'll send more, he said, voice low. They won't stop until they have the shard. Leo looked over his shoulder. Then we keep moving as they reached the edge of an old shopping mall. Leo stopped. This way, he said, leading them inside. It was dark, filled with broken glass and old signs. He used to hide here as a kid. Before the last bomb fell, inside, Leo took a moment to rest. His arms ached from pulling the cart for hours. His throat was dry and his stomach growled. But he didn't complain. Tyrell sat up with effort and looked around. There are memories here, he said, touching a dusty toy. This world. It once had laughter. Leo nodded. Yeah. Before everything broke, he handed Tyrell a bottle of water. Drink slow. As they sat in the silence, a sharp buzzing filled the air. Leo froze. Tyrell's eyes lit up, glowing brighter. They're close. Leo grabbed the pipe again. He ran to the broken glass window and looked outside. Drones, 3 of them, hovered near the street, scanning. They were shaped like spiders, their metal legs twitching as they crawled across the ruins. One of them turned its head sharply toward the mall. A red beam shot from its eye, scanning the entrance. Leo dropped low. Breathing fast, he whispered. They saw something. Tyrell stood, legs shaking. I can draw them away, he said. You run. Leo shook his head quickly. No. You can barely stand. But Tyrell looked serious. If they get the shard, everything is lost. Suddenly, the front wall of the mall exploded. A flash of red light and then fire. One of the drones flew straight in, its metal arms clicking open like blades. Leo grabbed Tyrell and pulled him behind a broken counter. His mind raced. What could he do? He was just a kid, and this thing was built for war. Then he remembered an old trap he had once made, back when gangs roamed these ruins. Leo ran to a side wall, kicked a support beam. The roof above the drone creaked, then collapsed. Concrete and metal crashed down on the drone, crushing it. Leo rushed back, helping Tyrell up. Let's go, now. They stumbled through a back exit and into the alley. 2 more drones spotted them and fired lasers. Sparks flew as beams hit the walls around them. Leo ducked, dragging the cart behind him. They ran, turned, ran again through streets, down tunnels, into the bones of the dead city. After a long chase, the sounds faded. The drones had lost them, at least for now. They hid inside an old subway station. Dark and cold, with rats running across the floor. Leo lit a small fire and sat beside Torel. His heart still raced. His body ached all over. Torel looked at him and said, "You are brave." Leo shook his head. "No. I'm just tired of running." The alien smiled weakly. "You remind me of my grandson," he said. "He was strong like you, always asking questions." "Never afraid." Leo looked at him, surprised. "You had a family." "Yes," Torel said quietly. "But I lost them. Not in war, but in silence." He paused. Then said, "I left to protect them. But in the end, they still suffered." Leo didn't know what to say. He just nodded. He knew what it was like to lose people and not be able to do anything about it. Torel pulled something from his pocket, a small photo. Worn and faded, it showed 3 aliens. One was Torel, and 2 smaller ones stood beside him. Smiling, "My home is far from here," he said. "But maybe I found something here worth saving too." Leo stared at the fire. He didn't understand everything, but he knew one thing. They weren't just running anymore. They were fighting for something bigger. Outside, high above the clouds, the black ship hovered silently. Inside it, a cold voice said, "Target is moving west." Toward the mountains, the hunt was far from over. It was just beginning. The subway tunnel was cold and quiet. Dust hung in the air. And broken signs still pointed to stations that no longer worked. Leo sat close to the fire. His body sore, his eyes heavy, but he couldn't sleep. Every little sound made him jump. He kept looking at the entrance, afraid the drones would return. Torel lay beside the wall, breathing steady but weak. The long walk and sudden attack had drained him. Still, his eyes were calm, always watching, always thinking. He was used to danger. It lived in his blood now. Leo stood up and walked a few steps down the tunnel. There was a map on the wall, half-burnt but readable. It showed an old maintenance route through the mountain. He traced it with his finger. Hope flickering in his chest. "If we follow this, we can reach the hidden valley," he said aloud. Torel looked up. "Is it safe?" Leo gave a half-smile. "Nothing's safe anymore. But it's better than waiting here." The valley he spoke of wasn't on any real map. It was just a story the old folks in the camps used to tell. A place where machines couldn't go, where signals were blocked by the rocks. They called it the Quiet Gap. Most people didn't believe it was real. But Leo had once seen it from a distance, a green place beyond the gray. "We'll need to move fast," Leo said. "Before the black ship finds us again." Torel tried to sit up, but his arm shook. "I can help," he said. Leo shook his head. "You rest, I'll handle it, over the next hour." Leo built a stronger cart using old subway parts. He added wheels from a bike, tied everything with wire and rope. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than before. He even found a sheet of plastic to cover Torel in case of rain or dust. They packed food, water, and a piece of metal pipe for defense. The shard, glowing and humming softly, was wrapped tightly in old clothes and hidden under Torel's coat. Before they left, Leo stood at the tunnel's edge and looked out. The wind had picked up, and dark clouds rolled across the sky. Storm coming, perfect for hiding. Terrible for travel. Still, they had no choice. They started moving. Through old service tunnels, past rusted trains, and up steep stairs that creaked under their weight. The road grew harder the closer they got to the mountain. Mud and rocks slowed the cart, and every few minutes Leo had to stop to catch his breath. But he never complained, not once. Torel watched him with quiet respect. He had met soldiers, pilots, kings, and killers. But this boy, thin, tired, and human, was more stubborn than all of them. "I owe you my life," Torel said suddenly. Leo looked back, surprised. Most people wouldn't do this for anyone. Let alone an alien, Terrell added. Leo gave a tired smile. Most people didn't grow up alone in a war zone. He paused, then said softly, helping you. Makes me feel like I still matter. They reached an old tunnel near the mountain base just as the rain started. Leo pulled them inside and covered the cart with a tarp. Thunder rolled above like angry drums. The storm would keep the machines away for now. Inside the tunnel, Terrell sat up with effort. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small metal device. It blinked blue, then green, then red. A tracker, he said. They are following this signal. Leo stepped forward. Then turn it off. I can't, Terrell replied. It's part of me. A life beacon from my homeworld. Leo's face darkened. So you're saying they'll never stop? Terrell nodded slowly. Unless we find a way to block the signal completely. Leo looked around the tunnel walls, thinking fast. If we can get deep enough inside the mountain, maybe the rock will block it. Then that is where we go, Terrell said. Just then, a low hum echoed through the air. Leo grabbed the pipe and moved to the tunnel entrance. He peeked out, and his blood ran cold. A shape hovered in the sky, dark and massive. The black ship, it had arrived. Leo ducked back inside, heart pounding. They found us, he whispered. Terrell's eyes narrowed. Then we don't run anymore, he said. We go through the mountain. And we disappear. Leo took a deep breath, nodded, and grabbed the cart with one last look at the outside world. They entered the dark path ahead. The mountain was waiting, and deep inside. The quiet gap, if it was real, could save them both. But the hunters were close, and time was running out. The tunnel through the mountain was cold. Dark and narrow, water dripped from the stone ceiling. And the floor was rough and uneven. Leo's arms hurt from pulling the cart. But he didn't stop. Each step echoed in the darkness. And each echo felt louder than the last. They were deep underground now. Far from the city, no more red lights, no more drones for now. Terrell sat quietly on the cart, wrapped in his blanket. His glowing eyes scanned the rocky walls. Always watching. We're close, he said softly. Leo looked back, surprised. Close to what? To a place where machines cannot follow, Terrell replied. My people used to build secret paths under mountains like this. Leo didn't say anything. But his heart beat faster. He didn't know whether to feel safe or more afraid. He didn't trust places built by people he didn't understand. Still, he kept walking because there was no going back. After what felt like hours, they reached a large chamber inside the mountain. It was open, tall, like an ancient hall. Old stone columns stood in rows, cracked and covered in moss. In the center was a circle of smooth rock, glowing faint blue. Terrell touched the stone and whispered something in a language Leo didn't know. The stone lit up brighter, and a hum filled the air. It was warm and deep, like a heartbeat. What is this place? Leo asked, stepping closer. Terrell looked around, his face calm but serious. This is a gate. A place where one can call for help or hide. Leo narrowed his eyes. You've been here before. Terrell shook his head. No, but my ancestors have, before Leo could ask more. A loud sound echoed behind them. Footsteps, heavy and slow. A shadow moved at the tunnel entrance. Leo's blood ran cold. From the darkness stepped a tall figure covered in black armor. Its face was hidden behind a metal mask, and its hands glowed red. A hunter, but not a drone. This one was alive. Terrell stood, his body shaking but tall. The figure raised a weapon, pointing it straight at Terrell's chest. Terrell of House Valari, the figure said in a deep, robotic voice. You are under arrest for betrayal of the Galactic Order. Leo stepped between them. Gripping his pipe tight. You're not taking him, he said. Voice shaking, the hunter laughed. low and cold, a human child, protecting a traitor. Terrell raised a hand, stopping Leo. His voice was louder now, firm and deep. "I am no traitor," he said. "I am the last of my house, keeper of the core shard, and rightful heir to the Valerie throne." Leo's eyes widened. "You're, what?" Terrell turned to him, calm and proud. "I am a high elder. Born of the royal bloodline," he said. "I was once one of the most powerful leaders in the galaxy." Leo took a step back. Shocked, he stared at the alien he had been feeding. Hiding, protecting for days, a billionaire. A ruler, a legend. The hunter stepped forward. "You left your people, Terrell, and now you will answer for it." Terrell stood tall. Though his body trembled, "I left to stop the war. Not to cause it," he said. "I carry the shard not as a weapon, but as a promise of peace." The hunter raised his arm, aiming the weapon. Leo moved fast. Swinging his pipe, it hit the hunter's leg, but barely made a sound. The hunter kicked him hard, and Leo fell back, groaning. "No!" Terrell shouted, stepping between them. His eyes glowed bright white, and the ground trembled from the center stone. Light burst upward, the walls shook, and wind swirled through the chamber. The hunter paused, confused. Terrell placed his hand on the glowing stone. "This is Valerie ground," he said. "You have no power here." The light shot out in a wave. Knocking the hunter back, he flew against the wall. Metal armor sparking, Leo pulled himself up. Bruised but breathing, Terrell helped him to his feet. "Why didn't you tell me who you really were?" Leo asked, still shocked. Terrell looked into his eyes. "Because I wanted to see who you were first," he said. "And you are more noble than kings." Leo didn't know what to say. His whole world had just changed again. They turned as the hunter crawled away, defeated but not destroyed. "This won't be the end," the hunter hissed. Terrell nodded. "No, it won't." He looked at Leo, eyes full of pride and sadness. "But now, we fight as equals." The mountain was quiet again. Dust floated in the air like snow, and the glow from the ancient stone had faded. Terrell stood with heavy breath, his hand still on the stone circle. Leo leaned against the wall, trying to catch his breath. His ribs hurt from the hunter's kick. But he was still alive, still standing, for a moment. Everything was still, then the silence broke. A deep humming sound echoed through the tunnel, low at first, then louder, growing like thunder rolling from the sky. Leo stepped forward, his eyes wide. That sound. "It's coming from above." Terrell looked toward the ceiling. "She's here," he whispered. Leo frowned. "Who?" But before he could answer, the air shimmered near the stone platform. A beam of black light shot down, and from it stepped a tall figure. She was alien graceful, beautiful, dangerous. Her eyes glowed purple, and her long, dark cloak flowed like smoke. She didn't speak right away. She looked at Terrell, then at Leo, and then smiled. "So, the mighty Terrell hides behind a child," she said in a sharp voice. "I expected more." Terrell narrowed his eyes. "You've always judged before knowing." The woman took a slow step forward, her boots silent on the stone. "I've come with a deal," she said. "Before my soldiers finish what your hunter failed to do." Leo tensed, gripping his pipe, even though he knew it wouldn't help. "What deal?" he asked. The woman turned to him and smiled kindly. Almost sweet. "You've done well, boy," she said. "You saved him, protected him, but he has nothing left to give you." Leo stared, confused. "What do you mean?" The woman looked at Terrell, then back at Leo. "He is hunted, broken, and poor. No matter what his bloodline is." She paused, then added, "But I can offer you a future." Terrell growled low. "Do not listen to her." The woman raised a glowing hand, and in a flash, a hologram appeared. A tall tower stood among shining cities. Clean streets and warm lights. Children laughed. People smiled. Food was everywhere. Leo's eyes widened. "This is one of my colonies," she said. "You could live here, eat well, sleep in peace." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "No more fighting, no more running, no more hunger." Leo didn't speak. Part of him wanted to believe it, to rest, to be safe, to live a normal life. Then she said the words that made his heart stop. "I'll take you there right now. If you hand him over." The stone chamber felt colder than before. Leo turned slowly to look at Tyrell. The alien stood still, silent. He didn't beg, didn't speak. He just watched. The woman smiled wider. "You've done enough, child. No one would blame you." Leo's grip on the pipe tightened. His throat was dry, and his heart was loud in his ears. He remembered the cold nights, the empty days. He remembered the time he cried alone, hoping anyone would help him. Tyrell had never offered him wealth, but he had trusted him. He had shared his past, shared his food, protected him when the hunter attacked. Leo took a step forward. The woman's smile grew. But then Leo raised the pipe, pointed it at her, and said, "Go away." The smile vanished. "What did you say?" she asked, her voice colder. "I said no," Leo repeated, louder this time. "You think I care about your cities?" He didn't offer me anything, and I still helped him. He walked back toward Tyrell. Standing beside him, "You don't understand loyalty," Leo said. "Because you've never earned it." The woman's eyes flashed purple with anger. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "Maybe," Leo said. "But I won't be a traitor." The woman raised her hand to attack, but Tyrell stepped forward, lifting the shard in his palm. A wall of light burst out between them, bright and strong. "You made your offer," Tyrell said calmly. "Now leave." The woman hissed like a snake, then vanished in a beam of black light. The air went still. The hum disappeared. Leo dropped the pipe and sat down hard, breathing fast. Tyrell sat beside him. Placing a hand on his shoulder, "You had a choice," he said softly. "And you chose honor." Leo looked at him and gave a tired smile. "You're the first person who ever treated me like I mattered." Tyrell nodded. "And you are more than you know." The stone chamber slowly returned to silence. The wind outside the mountain faded, and the strange lights in the air disappeared. Leo sat beside Tyrell, his chest still rising fast. His hands shook, not from fear, but from everything he had just done. He had said no to safety, no to comfort, no to an easy life. He had chosen something harder, something real. Tyrell was quiet for a long moment. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out the shard again. Its soft blue glow lit up their tired faces. "You were not meant to find me," Tyrell said. "But I believe you were chosen." Leo looked at the shard. He still didn't fully understand what it was or how it worked. But he knew it was powerful for the wrong hands. And somehow he had helped protect it. Tyrell stood slowly, his strength returning with every hour. "I sent a silent signal when we activated the stone," he said. "A message to my people, those still loyal to me." Leo stood too, rubbing the bruise on his side. "You think they'll come?" "They will," Tyrell said with quiet certainty. "And when they do, I will tell them who saved me for the next few hours." They waited in the chamber. Leo made another fire, and they shared the last of the food. Tyrell told stories of starships as large as cities, of planets made of crystal, of a galaxy full of wonder and danger. Leo listened with wide eyes for the first time in his life. He dreamed of something bigger than broken cities and cold nights. Then a sound came, not loud, not sharp, but deep, soft, and beautiful. A low hum, like a voice from the stars. Leo looked up. A golden light filled the chamber, coming from above, and slowly. Like a feather drifting down, a massive ship descended. It was silent, smooth, shaped like a rising moon. Symbols on its side glowed in a language Leo couldn't read. The ship opened, and figures stepped out. Tall, like Terrell, wearing long silver robes and glowing armor. Their eyes were calm, and their faces kind, one of them. A woman with bright white hair bowed deeply. "My lord," she said. "We came as fast as we could," Terrell nodded. His voice strong again. "I am alive because of him," he said. Placing a hand on Leo's shoulder, this human boy risked everything to protect the shard. "And me?" The group looked at Leo with respect. Not pity, not confusion, real respect. Leo felt his face go warm, unsure of what to say. The woman stepped forward, looking at Leo. "Would you come with us?" she asked. "We can give you safety, learning, a new home." Leo blinked. No more hiding. She smiled. "Only if you want to." Terrell knelt beside Leo. "You could be part of something greater," he said. "A new future, not just for me, but for you too." Leo thought of the empty streets, the cold nights, the hunger. He thought of the lies he had been offered, the dangers he had faced. And he looked at Terrell not as an alien or a king, but as someone who saw him, trusted him, valued him. "I don't want to be alone again," Leo said, voice low. Terrell smiled gently. "You never will be." Together, they walked onto the ship. The floor was soft under Leo's boots. The lights warm and soft. He looked back once. At the old world he was leaving behind, then he stepped forward into a future he never imagined. As the ship rose into the sky, the earth below grew smaller, and the stars above grew brighter. Inside, Leo sat near a window. Watching the planet fade, Terrell sat beside him, already speaking to the others in a strange language, but he paused, looked at Leo, and smiled. "You're not just a helper or a survivor," he said. "You're family now." Leo nodded slowly, for the first time in his life. He felt it, not just heard it. He was wanted, not because of luck, not because of pity, but because of who he was, a boy who helped a stranger. A human who made the right choice, a heart stronger than any machine.